I wanted to pose the question today of how many books is enough? This is a thing that I've been thinking about a lot over the past year, and as I'm getting back into writing, I took the rest of the year off really to work on crochet projects, and now I'm getting back into things, and I haven't wanted to work on my book and to actually go through the stages. And it's really like the last things, like it would just take a couple of days and it would be done to publish my 10th book. Really, I have my 5 fiction ones, but they don't sell, so I kind of feel weird counting them, so I kind of feel like I have to restart that number and be like, my 5th witchcraft book, because those at least sort of kind of sell. But anyways, the thing is how many books would be enough? Because I find myself usually going more towards video content of book reviews and this channel, my Patreon. When I go to work, you know, I sit down at my desk, those are the things I want to work on. I will get up early. I mean, this morning I woke up at 3 and I was like, you know, like I'm not that tired. I could just read for a bit, get some work done. So like I read this and then I went back to sleep and I got up. And then I took a shower, you know, got hubby to work and stuff. And then I read this one and it didn't feel like work, really. I mean, it is in a degree, you know, reading books that much in a day is a little mentally taxing, but I like to do it. I like to have fun with it. And I think, you know, I offer a perspective that's not talked about a lot in the witchcraft community. And I would like to think I'm adding some value into it. And, you know, I enjoy doing that. And then I look at my books and I'm like, it's just this weight. You know, my channel is finally doing something. I don't even want to say good, but it's doing something. You know, I've been trying to get that one monetized for years, like over a decade, and it finally happened last year. And I've been publishing books for about the same amount of time, kinda. I published my first one in 2014, right after I graduated high school, and then I worked and reworked on my second book for a very long time. And then I finally actually published it in 22. That was the year I got married, when I decided to do all of this full time. And so, you know, the past couple of years, I've done a lot of books. And so now I'm looking at it and, you know, I look at my sales and there is this part of me that feels such disappointment that publishing 9 books isn't even remotely enough. And it's not like a personal, like, oh my God, I've got so many more I want to do, which I do have. But the bigger is, you know, there's just this sort of expectation that by 9 books, most of them being published within the past 3 years, it should have been enough. You know, I should be able to have at least a few hundred sales, and I haven't. And, you know, like I had kind of thought by the time I was getting close to book 10, book 15, that things would be doing pretty good on the writing front. Not even necessarily making like minimum wage, but a couple hundred a month would be huge. And it's not. It's not even, I haven't even broke $100 a single month ever from book sales. And it's like, geez, like, what's the point in all of this? Like, and it got me to thinking of like, what is the amount of books at which point you can say, theoretically, you should be doing okay-ish. And I started to look and I found this article, and I'll link it below, but it basically talked about for indie authors, ideally, you should be publishing anywhere from 1 to 5 books a year. I have technically maintained that. 2025, I only did 1 book. I've been trying to get this other one done, and it's that inner demon brain that's just like, you're doing it wrong, and it's not gonna sell, and why bother, and all of that. But I at least did 1, so I'm on track. But the thing is that article talks about how ideally it's around 33 books is when you'll start to like kind of make it. And by make it, they said that roughly, I mean, of course, nobody has the same trajectory of authorhood, but usually at 33 books, you should plan to be making about $100,000 a year. That's a lot of money. As someone who I still didn't make enough in book sales to bother with claiming it on taxes, and actually between all of the things, books, Patreon, and YouTube last year, I didn't make enough to file taxes. There is a minimum that you have to make in a year, and I didn't make it. Which I know it's so weird, but to me it's such a pride thing of like, I did it. My business is a business. Like, I actually am in fact doing a job, and when I don't make that goal, it always hurts, and I'm not even close. Like, I think it might be like high end, maybe $400, and that's really, really estimating high. It could even be like closer to like $250. Like, I haven't checked, but it's not going to be a lot. And so it got me to thinking of 33 books. And then I started to kind of do this really other roundabout thought process of, okay, 33, that's not terrible. And then it started to hit of, what would be the amount of books I want to write in this lifetime? What would be the number that I could look at that and say, I did it. I'm good. I don't have to write anymore. And, you know, trying to still keep it realistic as well, because not all of us are going to end up being like an R.L. Stine, who's probably going to hit 1,000 books before he's dead. He's written hundreds upon hundreds upon hundreds of books, and not all of us are going to get there. But I started to think, like, what would mine be? What would be my goal of writing that I have written enough books that I really feel like I did it? And I think mine would be 99. 99 witchcraft books would be good. And to be honest, that sounds like a lot, but also it's not. Like, I mean, I have lists of like close to 50 books already I want to write, and that's just that I can come up with without even trying to like think that hard. Like, there's so many things you could write on, and I like it, and I like my perspective. I think I'm kind of finding my voice in what I want my books to be, and, you know, being someone who heavily promotes science first, and acknowledging magic's role and how it actually should not be. You shouldn't use a spell in this book, right? I just did it, and it's on my noggin, and it talked about how you should have like rock water, like put this crystal in a rock to cure an eye infection, and like, that's not my speed. And to have my books very adamantly be like, don't do that. Don't ingest essential oils ever. Don't do that. That book told you to do that too. Like, you know, having such strong boundaries of what is allowed, of what I really want my craft to be about, and what I want my books to be, and like decentralizing gender and deity work and worshipping the uterus. That one is such a pet peeve. And so to take all of that out and have my own thing, like, I like it. I like what I do. It's just sometimes hard when you don't have any, like, I don't want to say no support, because my mom watches my channel and she is my editor and she will read my books and argue that it's actually good, but also it's my mom. So like, she's gonna agree. But like, you know, not having a huge wave of support, it does get old after a while. And, you know, I saw Poland Bananas books. Her real name, I think, is like, I can't even remember anymore. It's like Richie, I think is her last name. But she's just always Poland Bananas books because that's the channel name I knew her as. But she just did her 4th book, and she's like, I don't want to assume, but like, she's like rich. Like, she's making it, you know? She only has to do 1 book a year, and it has a huge release, and there's thousands of people who are gonna immediately go buy it and are so stoked, and everyone's just like raving about her book. And I'm over here like, cool. I've doubled that, and I don't have that. And it's, you know, it's good for her. I'm glad she's doing well. It's just this weird place that I think a lot of the creative arts have, where there's the people who are really doing well and those of us who are struggle busing, and like, we're not there's not a lot of space to complain, because like then you're just wanting pity sales. It's like, I don't really want that. But also I think it's good to set expectations so you're not only seeing the highlight people and you're seeing the more realistic people. And so it got me to thinking, and that was the whole point of this rambly video, is how many books is enough? What is the point? Short term, and like check-in points that like, until I hit that goal, I just keep doing it. Like, I don't care what happens. I don't care if I sell a single copy or if I'm selling tens of thousands, the process remains the same. And just to check in at that point and see if the big goal still applies of 99 books, or if 33, and you know what, like, it's so much work, it's so much time, it's not even worth it. I think I've said all I need to. Like, let's stop and reevaluate. I don't think I'd ever give up writing, but I might adjust and be like, maybe I need to try fiction again. I don't think I would, because my witchcraft books do better than my fiction. To be honest, my fiction is pretty cringe, as it has been very frequently described. Not that I keep track, but a lot of people hate it. And I mean, they'll say it straight to your face that it's like the worst thing they've ever read, and you're like, that's not a dagger in the heart at all. That's fine. But I've also learned that, you know, there's a line between it's a reviewer who just didn't like it and somebody projecting. And it's usually been the projecting folks that tend to have the harsher words to say about my writing. And the others are like, it's either just not for them or I have potential. That's a fun one to see often. But, you know, I think I'm done trying fiction, but who knows? Maybe at 33 books, I'll be like, you know what, that's good for witchcraft, and I'm gonna move to fiction and do 33 of those and see how that goes. Like, I feel like checking in at 33, it's a lot of books, but also, again, channel name here, I do books full time. I have the luxury to do this. And it's not that we're like rolling in the dough by any means, but you know, I don't have a traditional job. I do this. I do YouTube. I make a couple cents a day. Really doing strong over there. This channel's not even monetized. The ads that you've probably seen on this, unless you have premium, yep, I didn't get paid for that. I'm not monetized. I'm not even close. I am still getting the uploads needed for the year, because you have to upload so many videos a year. I'm not there yet. And also, I have to have so many subscribers. Not there. And you have to have watch hours. Really not there. So it's gonna be a while. But, you know, I like this idea of I could do it. Now, is it gonna happen this year? Absolutely not. But if I can get 6 books published a year, that gets it pretty close. If I can get to the place where I'm doing like 11 books a year, that would be 3 years. Actually less, because again, I already have a backlog of some. And I think I'm gonna only count witchcraft books for that goal, so 33 witchcraft books. So I have 4, not 9, 4, and working on that 5th one. And I think that is a good goal of get to 33, check in. Until such time, just do it. Like, just keep going, and then you can check in and you can wallow at that point. But until such time, honestly, if I stay busy enough, I can't think about the numbers because I'm too busy. And reading as much as I am, trying to get my main channel content ahead so that by the end of the year I can have 2 months off, that's a big goal to hit. And yet I really want that. And then to be able to, you know, also maintain my Patreon, that I do like 3 to 4 posts a week. Those are extra videos to do. This channel every other day. Hopefully, I worry that I'll run out of things to ramble about, but then also I talk all the time, so I'm sure I'll be fine. But doing all of that, and you know, going through and finishing out the 3rd Temple of Witchcraft book, like that takes up time. I have other books that I want to work through. Like, there's so much work that I do, I would be okay. And so I think having that 33 book mark is a really good place to check in and really evaluate, like, is being an author worth it? Because also, to be perfectly honest, I think if I have written 33 books, I could maybe potentially feel confident when people ask what I do to be like, oh, I'm an author. What do you write about? Oh, I'm a witchcraft author. And then I really need to have that book done and I don't have it yet to be like, what? And then I can just like be super sneaky and just always have a copy in my purse and just be like, here you go. Like I've tried to write it a couple times, but I'm just not, it's not the project that's calling to my soul at the exact moment, but it's something like So I'm a Witch is the working title for it, where it's like, what? Because it's not a book for witches, it's a book for people who are not, and they're like, wait, for real? And you're like, yep, I cast spells, I worship the moon, I work with the stars, I'm best friends with a tree. Like, yes, that's what I do. And this is a book to explain it. That's what the description should be. Cause like, honestly, I hate writing the description of my book. Cause I'm like, I don't know, I wrote all these words, I'm done. Just read it. Just read it. That's what it's about. Just read it. So that would be, I should write that down as like the tag for that book. Like, here you go, this is the book. But to have that sort of a book, and then I feel like by the time I've done 33 of those, that would be enough to be like, yeah, I actually am in fact a witchcraft author, and I am already. But it doesn't feel like it until, you know, you have, every book has reviews. I don't. I think I only have maybe 2 books have reviews, and that makes it hard to pull the listings because Amazon punishes you if you don't have reviews. And so, and then I don't know what is going to happen with Barnes. I am just starting to embark on that. But I like this idea of 33 because also 99 is divisible by 33. So I check in 3 times and then see. And I think having, you know, kind of set up of like, okay, if I do 33 now, check in, see where life is at that point, and then the next 33, like, where will I be at in life? Like, that'll be midlife, really, at that point, which is scary to think about, and I might do it faster, or I might drag it out. Because again, if I'm doing 11 books a year, that's gonna go really fast. And so, you know, again, 11 books, that's 3 years. And if I drag it out, maybe it'll be closer to 6 years or 10 years. It just kind of depends on how things go. But I also like the idea of like, being in my 90s, being relatively healthy, you know, a lot of my circle of support people, most of them are dead at this point, but I remember them being like fit mostly in their older years. You know, my grandpa, he literally died working. He was working on some project. And I remember like my great aunt, she was like in her 80s or 90s and like still going out and doing stuff. And, you know, there's a lot of, like, even my dad, he's getting older, he's in his 70s, and he's just on a whim decided to whip out his chainsaw and cut down a tree because it needed to be done, and he is terrible about calling for help. So he's like, I got this, it's fine. You know, like, I want to be that kind of an old person that I would call for help before bringing out a chainsaw. But, you know, being healthy and being strong and, you know, having my wits about, and being able to look back on my life and, you know, what's that number? What's the bookshelf I want to look at? And know how many books I have written, 99, and then the final 100th book, I think would be a memoir. I think that would be fun. Because I do like to read those, and I think they're fun when you're old to write them. Even have check-ins of like, at the 33rd book, I write a third of the memoir. Of like, hey, up to this point of life, this is what's gone down. And then do it again at the 66th book, and then that 99th, and then it's like, oh, it's quick, just a little bit left, just a little quick summary of life, fill in some details if I feel like it, edit it, you know, and stuff, and then publish, and then I'm good. And that's like, I think that's a good goal, and maybe it won't be enough. Maybe I'll hit 40 and be like, remember when that was the goal? That could happen too. And it'll be like, actually, the goal is 333. That's a lot of books to do. But yeah, again, R.L. Stine, he's done it easily. I think that's just in the Goosebumps series alone. Like, it's possible to do. But I think it was just something that I kind of had to get to that point of what's the goal? Because I've had goalposts money-wise, and it hurts more because it's not actually in my control. You know, I wanted to have 200 book sales in a year. That didn't happen at all. And I can't really control that. You know, there's arguments to be made about, well, if you market this or you do that, but at the end of the day, I can't do anything about it. I'm just trying to influence people, and I am not good at being an influencer at all. I am a professional rambling person. That's what I do. And so, no, like I'm not great at that. And so instead, I like this idea of it's a goal that's actually in my control. Theoretically, outside influence, that could potentially be a thing of $100,000 at that point. That would be awesome. I'm not gonna lie, that would be so cool. Is it gonna happen? From books alone, $100,000 in book sales in a year. Would that be a thing at 33 books to make $100,000 a year? Maybe. I don't know. Currently at, again, it's 9, but really it's 4. Because again, I think I'm gonna stop counting my fiction because it doesn't sell. And I'm not planning to publish any further. I'm planning to write it, but I'm just not planning to publish it because it just doesn't sell at all. It just sits there mocking. So I'll just write it for fun like I used to. And then if I want to publish it, I can. But for now, it's not gonna happen, and I have so many other things I'm doing. It is moving into hobby status, not career status, which is fine. Because again, I kind of like having my writing career be as a witchcraft author instead of, well, I write this, and I tried that, and I do this. Like, I'd rather just be the witchcraft author, and that's it. This camera of mine, I swear, one day I'm gonna get me a good camera that can record for more than 20 minutes. This is not even 20 minutes. It's been cooling off for hours, and it's already overheating. So I'm gonna end it now. I'm not gonna be able to be like Adam the Woo and have a rambling video for 40 minutes, unless I wanna sit here all day for one video, and that's it. And I don't. I already got 3 other videos that I recorded today. I have 1 more to record. So I'm just gonna end this here. But I think it's kind of fun to sometimes have these discussions that aren't successful authors, but also not, no offense, not wannabe authors, but that in-between zone of trying to make it. I would love to hear what's your writing goal right now, like what's your checkpoint and then your ultimate goal. I would love to know, like what was the book number that you thought was gonna be like the number, and then have you hit it? And was it true? Did you actually make it or not? And especially for indie self-published, you know, I think traditional published, you have your own different goals and ballparks because publishers have a lot more say in your life. Us over here doing our own thing, we can just do what we want. That's why we can do 11 books in a year, and you're stuck to like maybe 2. So it's different worlds, but I would love to know. And if you're not an author, then what's your current life checkpoint and your current big goal and things? I think we all have that too, but for now, I just wanted to talk about that. And it's not the only thing I'm going to talk about on this channel. Again, I'm trying to keep it pretty random of just different things. Sometimes it'll be more writing focused, sometimes it'll be more random, just whatever comes up. So anyways, thank you for coming along, and until next time, I'll see you all soon.